Hey everyone, thanks for joining today. I'm going to be giving us an overview of the new and improved online business banking system that is rolling out here in the very near future for those of us here at Exchange Bank. I'm going to take us through the login process and then point out some of the high level features and some of the changes you might notice and some of the exciting features that helped Exchange Bank choose this new platform for you, our business customers. The login, you're going to go ahead and use the login that you are used to using on the current system. I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. Now, because it recognizes that it is my first time logging onto this new platform, it's going to give me a couple options to get to ensure it's me and help me select a new password on the new system. So you've either been provided a secure access code, or hopefully you see your phone number there or an email that you recognize. I'm going to go ahead and choose to have this code texted to me. If you don't text, you also have the option to send a voice message to yourself. I don't have that set up for this account, but that's an option as well. And a recorded message will call and give you an access code. So again, I'm going to go ahead and choose text. I just grab my cell phone, imagine along with me. And I've already got the code. It's almost instantaneous, so don't wait too long. And then go ahead and put in the 6-digit code that you were texted. And now it's going to walk me through selecting a new password. Little tip for you, because we didn't bring any passwords over from the old system to the new system because we don't want to see the passwords. That just causes more headaches than it's worth. Go ahead. You will be able to choose the password you have on the current system. That's a one-time deal, just because we don't, on the new system, we don't have a history there for you. So now you're going to go ahead and pick a new password or put in the old password. And as you can see along the bottom, it's letting me know whether or not I've met the criteria for the password strength. And now I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. And it's asking me if I want to register this device. The rule of thumb here is if it's your computer, it's a personal computer, nobody else is going to be using it, or nobody that you don't trust, i.e. your spouse, whatever, go ahead and register the device. That way we know this browser is safe. We're not going to take you through those secure access code steps again. If it is a shared computer, perhaps, and many of you may have a common computer at the office that multiple people are logging into, we ask that you do not register that device. It just adds an extra layer of security and ensures that even if you wander away from the computer, everybody's going to need to validate that it is indeed them logging into that computer with their own unique login. So I'm going to go ahead and register this device, and that's just going to store this device in the list with my login for the next time I log in. Okay, so now you can see here we are at my, this is your home screen you might hear us talk about. And all of the accounts that you have, don't worry, everything will be there. You should see all of the money available to you. But this is going to give you a quick snapshot of what you've got going on with your business accounts. I've been playing with this a little bit so you can see some groupings in here, but I'm going to go ahead and ungroup some of these accounts, and I'll walk you through what that means. So one of the coolest things I think about once you log in here, oftentimes businesses have so many different accounts for either different subsidiaries, or maybe you have a coffee shop and you have a bagel shop and you want to keep all of your coffee accounts together and you want to keep all of your bagel accounts together. We give you that ability to create different groupings unique to this user, okay? So you might have a certain way you want to look at something. Maybe you have way more accounts that you look at than some of your employees. This view that you're creating here is unique to your log on. So when you log in with your unique login and password that we just went through, it knows, hey, here's Kathleen, and I'm going to go ahead and present to her the accounts in the way she likes them. It's kind of like that automated seating feature in some of the newer cars where you can say, there's a set for the, one person in the household, and then there's a setting for somebody else in the household. That's kind of what this allows you to do. You may all have the same information in there, but when you log in, you may have a certain way you like to look at those accounts. So again, to give you kind of a better idea of what that looks like, let's say these accounts down here are going to be for the bagel shop. And again, this, you can always go back and change these, delete these. And let's say, and so to create a new group, you're just going to drag down here. See, as soon as you drag down there, that envelope pops up. I'm just going to put that into this group. And I'm going to say, and this is the coffee shop. And so now when you log in, you've got a little bit more organized view. You have a quick glance. You can see the balances and what's going on, both the available and any pending balance. There's a difference you'll see right there. And from here, there's also some quick action steps. So you can view activity or you can initiate a quick transfer from right here. So if you log in and you say, hey, you know what, really quick, there was not enough money in the payroll account, so I'm going to do a quick transfer from here, and I'm going to pull money out of this account, $100, so I can process payroll, and then I'm going to do transfer funds. So that's really why we call it a quick transfer. I'm not really going to move the money because we are in a live environment here, and somebody might miss that money. They probably will. Okay, so again, this is your home screen. You have control over all of these groups. You can call it whatever you want. And again, nothing's permanent. You don't have to click save. If you don't like it, you can always undo it. But again, when you're doing something here, it's specific to your user. Over here on the right-hand side, we have a quick menu option. We have quick transfer, and this is what we're going to do. It's another way to allow you to transfer money very quickly over here. We may add some more options over there as time wears on, but again, if that's something that you're doing a lot, just keep in mind that's the first button you can go to. Again, you can just say, hey, I just need to get money from here to here and move on with what I was doing, go on with my day and run the business. Okay, so we're back here at the home screen. Down here at the bottom, we give you some insight into your asset and debt summary. You can do account by account. And again, it's just kind of our standard to help you with some of your personal financial management or your business financial management if you want an overview of what's going on at a high level. The next thing I'm going to talk you through, so over here on this left-hand menu option, you notice there's a couple of carrots that has some additional options hidden in there. So if you can't find what you're looking for, you may need to expand it. But I'm going to start up here on the top at the commercial services. This is where you're going to see the tools that are going to help you run your business, depending on what you do most frequently. Okay, so we're jumping in here with payments and collections. We give you two options. Once you're in here, you can either create templates if it's a payment or a collection that you're doing repetitively. It saves you a lot of time if it's something you're going to be doing more than once, or if you've got a certain subset of either employees or users or people that you're sending or receiving money with. Go ahead and create a template. It's going to save you a lot of time down the road. Here's all the difference. There's a title company you are frequently sending wires to. I would recommend creating a template for that. It's just going to save you time. Once you create a template, they'll appear here in the middle of the screen. And again, you can copy that template, you can edit the template, and you can get rid of it if you're done using it. On the other side of that, if it's a one-off payment or collection that you're doing, you can just log in here and do a new payment. And again, you have the options of doing ACH batch, collection, domestic wire, international wire, payment from file, which is nice if you are working with another system. Payment from file gives you the opportunity to upload. Let's say maybe you have some sort of a membership system for your gym and it spits out a CSV file for you that has all of your monthly due information and your members' information in there. You can 100% upload that file and initiate a collection that way. And again, between these three ways to do a payment from file, we give you both a sample file as well as the specs that are needed for that file. I'm going to go back out here and just, we'll go ahead and initiate we'll do an ACH collection, like we're collecting some money from some folks. I'll walk you through what this looks like. I'm sure this is what you guys are doing a lot. When you go in here to do this one-time payment, the system has saved any recipients that you had already set up. They're going to be available for you. Let's say it's every once in a while you send Joan Jett some money. So we've gone in, we said we have prearranged from her that we're going to collect money. Here's Joan. We're looking to get $50 from Joan this month. And you can say, spring dues. If you want to add some additional information to that ACH collection, and then you can switch to next. Now, this next step, again, this is the workflow going across the top to let you know where you're at. If at any point in time you say, oh, you know what, that wasn't supposed to be 50, that was supposed to be 500, or you remember something else you need to change about it, you can go back and make an adjustment here. This needs to be $500. And then you can continue to the next step again. So that's really nice. That gives you that flexibility. You don't have to scrap it all and start over. Whenever you see this workflow bar across the top, it's going to give you that ability to go in and make changes as needed. So account, it wants to know what account you want this money to come from. So, or where you want this money to go to. I'm sorry, we're collecting money from Joan. We're going to take that $500, and that's her. She's sponsoring the company sports team, so we're going to go ahead and put that into the company sports team account. Then we're going to go ahead and click next, and this is going to be your review and submit option. Okay, we're going to do a PPD ACH code. We're sending the payment as this is going to be your business name right here, and it's going to land in that sports team account. And the total amount of the transaction is right here. If you had multiple transactions in there, that amount would change. And then you can schedule that for the next possible effective day. I'm going to go ahead and pick a couple days out because I don't want to actually do this. This will give me a chance to go back in and cancel it. You also have the option right here, which is really nice, to set a schedule. Let's say that quarterly you're going to be collecting this $500 for the sports team from Joan Jett. Go ahead and choose what schedule. You're going to choose this monthly. We'll do it on the 31st of every month, and we want that to happen, when should this transaction stop? We want that to end on the 31st. We chose monthly, and then we're going to go ahead and save that. So that means really this transaction is only going to happen one time. There's a lot of options in there, and you'll see all the different things. The reason it limited that for me is because I'd already chosen an effective date. But again, we want that just so we can kind of see I get a chance to go in and cancel it. So right down here at the bottom, you can see I have the ability to just go ahead and approve this transaction because I'm logged in as a company admin. Or if I was logged in and I'm one of your employees, then maybe has the ability to draft transactions, but you don't want them to actually send anything because you want to see the transactions that are going out, or you have someone else there at the business that you want to review them and approve them. The only thing they're going to see here is draft. They'll see approved, but it'll be grayed out. So I'm going to go ahead and draft that transaction. And this is a confirmation screen. If something was super incorrect with it, you would see a red notice here, and it would say, sorry, problem with this. This yellow one is just a warning saying, hey, you've actually drafted a payment. You can see here, and it gives you just another summary of what you have drafted so far. And I'm going to go ahead and close from here. And again, we're still in the payments and collections work area. And again, I'll walk you through just some of the options that are in here. This is both where you would initiate a one-time payment and wire, and also where you can create a batch or a template. So, okay, I'm going to walk us through right now creating a template. I opted for payroll. The template name, let's say template name. I'm going to say let's do this bi-weekly payroll. And grant user access. This gets into one of those cool functionalities that you can choose which one of your employees you're going to give access to this template. So, right, remember we're in here creating this template for bi-weekly payroll. It defaults to have all of your employees lit up right here, right? So let's say Emily just started. We're not going to give her access. Frankie, we don't really trust him, but Courtney, Colorado, we trust her, so she can also have access to manage and run this template. Often you may have information stored in some of these templates that you don't want all of your employees to have access to, so that might be a reason why you don't give everybody access to this template. Okay, so now remember, follow this bar across the top. You can see where you're at in the workflow. Who is this template going to? And again, we're creating a template to save time down the road. You can always go back and add and change, and even so down the road, and I'll circle back in here, even if for some reason you can always make changes. That's the nice thing. But again, the goal of a template is if it's something that you're doing repetitively or you just want to save some time, that's obviously when we want to create this template. So again, this is the biweekly payroll. We've got Joan and Owen on there. This is who's receiving the payroll at my company. I'm going to go ahead and add one more recipient. I forgot about old so-and-so, so I want to make sure they get in here. Eileen. I should put her last name in there. And again, remember I mentioned earlier, anything with a red asterisk is required. Anything without, you don't need to add anything there. So the more information, the better if you have it. I like to put it in. I'm a stickler for that stuff. But again, unless there's an asterisk, you don't need to put it in there. This is a great feature, I think. So, sorry, I'm so stuck on Joan Jett. So if you have the person's email, and again, this is something where, in this scenario, we're creating a payroll, right, that's coming out of one of our business accounts. If you have the person's email, go ahead and put it in here. And when you check this box, send email notifications for template payments, what that means is, let's say now you're all set up, Eileen's on the payroll, and she's going to start receiving monthly payroll. Once that... the next time you go to initiate a payment using this template that has Eileen as part of it, and you have this box checked, once that payment is actually in the pipe and going out, not just scheduled, but once it's been approved and is in the system, she will receive an email to this address saying, Eileen, Exchange Bank Incorporated has, and again, it's a terrible name for my fake company, your company has sent you, initiated an ACH collection or an ACH payment to you so that they know to keep an eye out for it. It's a nice feature, and again, I'm always a fan of the more communication, the better. And that's it. Again, if you have the information, go ahead and add it. If not, stick with what's required. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next screen. Okay, so we're adding Eileen to this template, right? So she'll be in there going forward. This is going to be ACH only. You have the option to also do ACH, and if you want to save her as a wire recipient, you can. So now this is where I'm going to put in Eileen's information. Where should I be sending her payroll to? And then you want to have her routing number in here as well. And here, now that we've gone through these steps of putting Eileen into this template, is she someone that is going to be a reoccurring recipient for other things that I'm doing here at the bank or here at my business, or is she someone that is really ever only going to be part of this template? Like, so do you see yourself sending and receiving money with Eileen for a lot of different things? Go ahead and save her as a recipient. Otherwise, she'll just be, again, always a great example. Oh, look, so could not add recipient, request not valid. Please ensure all required fields are completed. Oh, darn it. Sometimes I try to wing these and it just doesn't like it. Hang on. Bear with me. I'm looking one up. All right. There we go. Okay, I got a valid one in there. So now, again, sorry, that was a slow. We were creating a template for biweekly payroll. So now, remember, we use this new recipient button to add Eileen in here. Joan's part of this template as well, because, from now until she does something wrong, Eileen, Joan, and Owen are always going to be part of this template that we're creating. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step. And when I'm paying payroll, where do I want this money to come from? So of your of your business accounts with Exchange Bank, where should that be coming from every time? I'm going to go ahead and choose the payroll account. I'm not getting paid very much. And then go ahead and select next. And so we've created a template. This is biweekly payroll. This is your company name. Make sure everything's correct. So far, the total amount of this is $0. And again, I'll circle back to why I think that's important. And this is effective. We'll get started on Friday for that. And this is also something you can go in and set these up ahead of time, but maybe this new scheduler, this new template may not be in effect until some changes take place, again, where you can make it effective for today. And actually, I would back off. Let's go ahead and make that effective the first available day, but let's set a schedule. How often should this transaction repeat? We are going to do this on the first. No, we're not going to do that. Let's get out of there. I get myself down too much into the weeds with this template. Okay, so this template is effective ASAP, and here's the 3 folks that we've added to it. We want to pay them. And remember this notify. Remember when I put in Eileen's email address? All 3 of these folks are going to get notified whenever this payment is initiated. And all I'm going to do is going to go ahead and save this template. So I haven't initiated any payments. Nobody's getting paid yet. But now when I go back in here, I'm going to come back out here. So it's like the first time I came in here. Now we have a new template in here. So, okay, so that covers using templates and initiating new payments. Real quick while I'm in here, I'm going to point out this toggle up here. This is in list format. Whenever you see this throughout the system, this basically just gives you the ability to view it in tile format. You have all the same options. Some people prefer to look at it one way. Other people prefer to look at it a different way. That's really all that's going to do for you. I'm going to put it back in the list mode and move on here to recipients. So again, you saw we just added Eileen there in that last example, and now she's here as a recipient. I would say that if you're ever just updating or adding information for folks that you're sending or receiving money with, I would do that all from recipient management. There's a handful of different ways you can do out throughout the system, but let's say maybe you have some sort of a membership related business, and whether you're collecting gym dues or organizational dues, or there's people that you're consistently sending and receiving money with, if you're doing something or you need to change something with them not related to a payment, instead of doing it on the fly while you're editing perhaps a payment filled with a lot of different line items, I would just come right here to recipients. Let's say Eileen updated her account number. And so right here, so this is, maybe she wanted to put in her new address. You can do that here. Once you initiate an address, we do want you to fill it out completely. And then right over here, you see this tab. I can go in here and update her banking information and save her info right there. So again, you can also add recipients from this part of the system. And then next time you go through to initiate a payment, all of that's going to be available to you. So your recipients are just, think of that as a separate drawer of the filing cabinet maybe, where you keep all the recipient information, you keep it up to date. And then when you go to initiate a payment, it has access to all of that updated information. You don't have to update it in 2 places, which is really nice. I'm going to move on and talk about users. Again, I don't want to make you guys listen to me for too long. We're going to have a lot more materials available online as we get closer and closer. And obviously, we've got a great team here at Exchange Bank that can help you through a lot of this as well. So we want to be available for you, and we want you to be ready. So user management. These are your employees, obviously, that are working with you at your business. We give you a lot of options to drill down here. Right now, we're at the commercial level product. We have a step up that gets a little bit more complex. It lets you drill down even further into user management, gives you increased entitlements and reporting ability. But I don't want you guys to go cross-eyed right now, so I'm just going to keep it with this level of user management on the new system. All the users that you had on your previous, on our current system will be over on the new system. And they'll each have to go through that same login process that we went through at the beginning of this webinar. And again, we're happy to help you guys through everything here. Make sure, if this is Courtney's email on file, when she goes to log in that first time, she can get a secure access code delivered to the email that we have here for her. So what I'm going to do right now is just walk you through adding a new user. That'll give you a little bit more visibility into the process. So let's say you've got a new summer intern starting. We'll use that example. I'm going to go ahead and say, Jacob. Jacob's starting with us here this summer. He's got a college internship, and he's just going to be here for a little while. I want to give him some exposure, maybe some busy work, maybe a little bit of research here on the system. So we'll get into that a little bit more later, but I'm going to put some basic information in here. Remember, we want this phone number in here. So again, when he goes to log on to the system, he has that as a way to receive that secure access code. We've got Jacob. And again, you can see over here at the right, it's letting me know in red that my username that I've chosen for Jacob is not long enough. We do have an 8-character limit for how long this can be. So we're going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. And this password here, don't stress too much about it because they're going to be prompted to change it on their first login. So you can do password 123, or the office dog's name always works too. Again, it needs to follow the rules, but they're going to be prompted to change it as soon as they log in. So there's never going to be a situation where we're going to have you go in here and set a login for somebody, and then you can log in without changing. It's not quite a good check and balance there. So, all right, now we've got Jacob saved. We have a new user. At this point in time, Jacob can log in and, well, not quite yet. So this next screen here that we're taking to, we are going to, okay, so now Jacob, we've been dropped into the user policy for Jacob. This is the overview screen. So basically these are all the transactions that your company is allowed to do through online banking. This is an overview screen. It's just a nice one and done, one at a glance way to see what the approval limits are. And again, check up here. We're creating a user policy for Jacob, and he's inherited these limits from what your company, what your customer, your business account is allowed to do, and what's been set for you by Exchange Bank. Now, as we said, Jacob's just here on a summer college internship. Do we really want to allow him to collect up to $3 million in ACH 200 times throughout the month? Probably not. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on here, and we're going to look a little bit deeper at ACH collection and decide what can he do. You know what? We don't. At the end of the day, I'm just going to turn that off for Jacob. When he logs in, I don't even want him to have the option to see or interact with ACH collection, right? So I'm going to go back out here to the overview screen. I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can move around in here. And now you can see ACH collection isn't even something Jacob can do. And why that's helpful is because now let's say one of your users is having a hard time doing something. You're just going to go to users, overview, and you can do a real quick glance. And if you don't even see ACH collection there, it's probably because you may have turned it off for them, right? So you've disabled it for them. I'm going to give you another example of kind of how we can customize that a little bit more for each of your users. So I had clicked on ACH pass-through. That's a little complicated of an example, but we'll go through it. So right now, Jacob can draft, he can approve, and he can cancel. We don't want him to cancel. We don't want him to approve. But maybe we want to give him some experience. Maybe he's working with the third-party system you have in the office that creates an ACH file. So we're going to let him draft those transactions. And again, we're still right here with ACH pass-through. And again, this gives you a lot of granularity and ability to control what your employees are doing, which is really nice for you. Your employees may not appreciate it, but that's all right. So again, we're out here at ACH pass-through. It's got a pretty high limit. Maybe we should bring that. This is letting you know what he's able to do. I'm okay with that. maybe 500 seems okay. Maybe we're going to let him just, that. I think that works for him. Let's move down here to, so that's per transaction. We're going to let him do transactions up to $500. Do you think he's going to do that many in a day? I don't think so. So maybe we'll let him do, up to 3, maxing out at that. Again, this is saving real time as you're doing this. Per month, I don't really want this kid to go much above 2,000. That's not going to get any far. But you can see for demonstration purposes, now we've gone ahead and let's go ahead and save that. Always save, even though that piece was real time. And then we're going to go back and take a look at what, there's that green screen we like. So again, that was just saving that right here for this ACH pass through. I'm going to change one more. This is just going to show you this as you have a different way to go out here. You don't have to go all the way back out to that overview screen, which is where we were. And again, there's ACH collection. If you disabled it and you need to re-enable it, just click it there. And the way we kind of hit it there is because it makes this overview screen a little bit more accurate. So if you've disabled it and you're just taking a quick glance, oh, he doesn't have it, that's why. If you drill into one of these, you can say, oh, here's ACH collection. I'm going to go ahead and enable it. Now I'm going to move over to this features tab. This is where you can, again, say, what do I want Jacob to be able to do once he's logged in? This has a little bit more to do, obviously, with transactions that they could be doing in the system. Features, what's he going to have access to? Do you want him to manage templates? If you click on there, that means he's able to do it. Do you want him to be able to manage recipients? Sure. Can view all recipients? Sure. Maybe you don't want them to know who you're paying. Go ahead and deselect that option there. Manage templates, undo that. Again, maybe you have somebody at your business that's constantly updating membership information. You go ahead and give them the manage recipient options. Maybe they're completely non-transactional and they're just somebody that handles that. You can let them log in and just keep your membership folks updated and never let them draft a transaction. So that's an option as well. And allow one-time recipients. That, if you get rid of that, it's going to make sure that nobody's going in there and cutting goes a little cuckoo one day because they didn't win the lottery, and they're just going to go do a one-time thing. Maybe you only want them to use templates. So that's another option there too. The last thing in here, when we go in here and we're setting up Jacob, is what accounts do you want Jacob to have access to? So here's all the accounts that are associated with your business, with your customer account with Exchange Bank. Presently, as you can tell by looking at this, Jacob can't do a whole lot here. So what this means is none of these are even going to show up for him. If you want to give him everything, or if you're just in general, you can click these column headings, and that'll give you what you need to do. We're not going to give him the ability to do any withdrawals here. Obviously, there's a lock sign here because you can't withdraw from your mortgage. We went ahead and took care of that for you on the back end. We know that. We know that much. We got that going for us. And maybe he can only deposit to a couple accounts. If you want to just do it from this direction, that lets you do it a little bit more individually. And again, we're going to let him see all the accounts. He can deposit to some of them, and he can withdraw from none of them. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And I should get my policy change screen here in a second. Great. Okay, so now Jacob's ready to roll. So this is going to give you an overview of what he can do. The ACH collection we went through at a granular level. You can also do everything from out here. So you can drill down by the transaction type, or you can just use this overview screen to control some of this as well. When you want to get into the amounts, that's when you're going to want to open up these specifics. And this last column over here, do you want him to even be able to see that option? Do you want him to see transactions related to that? Maybe you've got some sensitive type transactions and you really don't want one of your employees or some of your employees to even be able to view them. You have a few options here. So, and again, this is specific to Jacob. You can say he can view all the transactions that are out there that are ACH collections. He can only view the ones he's scheduled, or I don't want him to see any of them. Excuse me. That's where you're going to make those modifications. And again, it might seem like a lot of steps, but it gives you a lot of ability to really customize how much control you're giving to your users. And ideally, or the best part, not ideally what you are doing with this is starting to delegate some of this functionality to your employees. Again, we give you that ability to draft transactions and make sure that you're the one approving it. And again, this is actually, let me go back out here. That's one of those ones I can't, hit on much, or stress enough. When you go in, so you've drilled into payroll, do you want Jacob? Jacob can draft payroll, but he can't approve it. That gives you that extra safety step. People can draft transactions all day, but until you approve it, or until somebody that has the ability to approve it goes in there and takes care of it, nobody can do any damage. So on that note, I'm going to take you over here to the Online Activity Center. You guys, I could sit here and talk about this system all night, but I won't. So I'm going to take you over here, and we're going to talk about the Online Activity Center. The Online Activity Center is a one-stop shop for all the transactions done within online banking. So it doesn't have anything to do with if you swiped your debit card at Rayleigh's last night, and is that going to show up on your sport team account? For that, you would just start directly, there's a couple different ways you can really start to drill down on an account-by-account basis. If you're looking for a summary of what transactions were done through the business banking platform, that's when you're going to go to the Online Activity Center. Whew. I picked a doozy, didn't I? Okay, so again, I was back on the account screen. If you wanted to see the transactions, that's how you can drill down this way, but Online Activity is just going to show you what activity was drafted in your online channel. So remember, I drafted a payment earlier, and now it's sitting here waiting to be approved. Depending on the volume of transactions in your business, this screen could be filled up. For demonstration purposes, I wish it was. But let's say you're on the go, you're at your kid's soccer game, you get a notification saying a payment was drafted, and you're the only one that's an approver. You can hop in here real quick. You can filter by all your transactions that are drafted, apply. And again, if we had 1 million transactions out there, you'd see them all out there. Total of credit, total of debits. And then from right here, you can approve that transaction. So, and if you want more information about it, just click that transaction, and it's going to say, hey, this is an ACH collection. It was drafted by, there's my username. You might see Jacob's name on there, whoever scheduled it. Give you a rundown. This looks good. It's going to be 20 cents coming out of this account. And then down here, you can see a detail. Cool. Joan Jett's getting paid 10 cents and Owen's getting paid 10 cents. This looks great. And again, I can just go here and approve it. These are all the options, or I can say, I don't think I'm into that transaction right now, and I could cancel it. Same thing, we give you the ability to go in here and look at reoccurring transactions. Here's one that is also drafted and waiting an approval. Let's take a look at this. Who's moving $500 around? Joan Jett. I guess we did that together earlier. But so here's another one that we drafted. Is it reoccurring? Yes. Again, just giving you a little bit more visibility, what's waiting for your approval. This one isn't... This transaction needs my approval in order to kick off. This one is a reoccurring transaction that also needs my approval to kick off, and that's why it's set up over here. And again, any pending mobile deposits are going to show up over here in this option. I don't have any available in this test account. I apologize. Okay, so that we'll just keep in mind. Online Activity Center is kind of your headquarters of where you're going to go to review transactions that have just happened or in flight. And approve transactions. And I mentioned getting a notification when something was drafted. I'm going to go ahead and go down here and talk you through the alerts, because that's a big one as well. Okay, so under settings, you're going to go to your alerts options, and you can see here, this is an account an alert I've already set up. It's an account alert, meaning it is triggered by some specific information about one of my accounts. It's currently on. I can turn it off. Great. If you're getting something you don't like, and we don't have any history alerts or transactions alerts set up. Security alerts, I'm going to circle back to this other one. Security alerts are all the things we think you need to know. These are just going to come this way, defaulted on your account. These, if it's blue, if you don't care if somebody created an ACH transaction, go ahead and turn it off. We made some recommendations of, based on what we believe your business might care about. We went ahead and enabled some of these to work a certain way. But again, for those in blue, we're going to go ahead and turn those off for you. You'll notice some of these are grayed out and that little no sign's popping up. Alert me when my password is changed. We feel that to save us all a lot of headache, you definitely should know that when your password's changed. And again, so some of these we are just never going to give you the option to turn off, and you're welcome. So again, but some of these other ones, and again, we consider these security alerts, and again, by each in here you can go in and edit how you want to receive these security alerts. And again, these are the ones I feel are the most important, obviously, because in our world of online banking, you want to make sure everything's safe and secure. So how am I getting this delivered? I can come to my email. If I wanted to come by my phone number, I can add that in. And for texting, same thing. If you have all this populated, you are going to get it in all areas. Sorry, I did not properly complete that. We're looking out for you. So if you only want it by text, only complete the text area. If you want a phone call, put your phone information in there. And if you want an email, put that in there as well. If you want it in all three, go for all three. I think that's a little overkill, but to each their own. Okay, so that was in security alerts. I'm going to walk you through what that looks like in setting up a new account alert. So, well, we already have one of those. Let's do a history alert. Okay, so the workflow for here is just right down the left-hand side. So, which account do you want this alert to be from? Do you want that to be whenever a transaction happens on this account? Let's say when somebody's pulling money out of that business checking, I want to know if somebody's ever doing something over $100, and how do I want to receive that notification? So these are a little bit different than the security alerts. Again, you have the same options, but again, we're going through and setting these up. So do you want to get that email, phone, text message, or secure message only? Secure message only is it's only going to appear to you here in online banking. So email, again, we've got email, phone, text message, secure message only. For our purposes here, I'm going to show you what the text setup looks like, because we do have some more. I'm going to get so many texts. Do you want to send immediately? Otherwise, you'll get these nightly. We want you to just agree to the terms and conditions, obviously. And every occurrence, going to go ahead and save that. Now we see that this alert is here as well. This one's still on. If you want to turn it off, right here, close. Okay, so, and then online transaction alert. I'm sorry, we haven't set any of those up. Let's do one of those just so you can see what that looks like. So we talked about how you might receive a notification that a transaction's ready for you to approve. Okay, so payroll. Let's say you have somebody at your business that you've given access to create payrolls. They're only allowed to draft them, but not approve them. So now you've got that draft available right there. So payroll's always coming out of the payroll account, and whenever it is drafted, and you would like a text message, you already saw what that looked like. I'm going to go ahead and put my number in there. I want it immediately. And again, sometimes you're in a black hole or you're at Coachella, maybe you're having a problem, you won't receive that message So that might be a reason that maybe you alternately also want to create. You can create an additional alert if you want to that also goes to your email. But again, for our purposes, we'll pretend that texting is always 100% spot on. And again, that might just depend on the severity of that transaction alert. So now, in review of this, whenever anybody drafts a payroll transaction, you're going to get a text message. And this is great because now you can go off and run your business, live your life, go to your kid's soccer game, and you'll get a text message saying, hey, a payroll is ready for your approval, or a transaction was just drafted. So A, you can look at it from a security standpoint of like, hey, why is somebody drafting payroll without me? Or B, you can go on, live with your life. You can hop on a boat, go do whatever you're going to do. And as soon as you get that text message, you know payroll's ready for your approval. And with that, I think that should give you guys a pretty good overview. I know I covered a lot, and this is a lot longer than I wanted it to be. But again, I'll take us back to this home screen. We gave you a great overview of this is how you're going to find your account information, grouping accounts the way you want them. If you ever want to change these nicknames, what you're going to do is you're going to come down here to settings, account preferences. Excuse me. Let's say you don't want to call that business checking anymore. Click right here, and you can change that label to retirement fund or whatever you want. Let's also say maybe that you don't, it's an account you're never going to do anything with. You don't want it to show anymore. If you click that, don't worry, the money's still yours. It just means when you log in here on the home screen, that account's not gumming up the works anymore. And again, this is unique to you. If you don't want to see those accounts every time you log in because you never deal with them, but you have access to them if you need them, account preferences allows you to hide them down here. And again, this is where you're going to go to change nicknames. So the online display name, biz checking supplies, that works for me. And then remember, we made those groups out there, bagel shop, coffee shop. This is where you can edit that as well. Okay, so I'm going to go on up here, take us back to the home screen. I hope this has given you guys a little bit more insight into the commercial banking features that are coming. I couldn't cover everything in this session because I would have lost you guys, but we have some exciting trainings coming up, and there'll be additional training information available on the Exchange Bank website. I hope everybody enjoyed that, and I look forward to the next phase in this project. Thanks so much.